round 5, and I still don't have my last shiny bait. I just want 3. That's it. All I
That's
want
the goal
is 3.
always. That's always the
it,
goal.
guys. Like, I don't even
You're one away. You still have an hour and a half. You
I
got
don't have
this.
enough candy to evolve it into a Salamence anyway, so I don't know why I'm like super interested. Anyway.
You'll get it eventually. This is why they've invented rare candies.
We've got an hour and a half to go through this last round. We are on round 5. Something that's happened in the Smash feed right next to it. The Inkling one, so. Oh, that's such a cute. That outfit is so cute.
Well, we're gonna kick it off. Scott Felver on the left. He's got Incineroar, Salamence, Lunala, Groudon, Tapu Koko, and Tapu Fini. Patrick Bosnick. Yeah. I thought like
Groudon, Yveltal, Landorus, Tapu Koko, Mawile, and Metagross. And then, So what's fun here is I actually really adore Mega Mawile because I think Mawile as a Pokemon can't get intimidated because of Hyper Cutter, and then you've got the huge power once it Mega Evolves, right, for that potential. I know that like Kyle Hudson here personally in our local area, he loves running Metagross with AV, so there's actually 2 potentials for Megas on Patrick's side of the field as well, right?
Yeah.
And then the double Tapus on Scott's side is also really interesting. And I would like to point out, I don't know if it's just a Southern California thing or whatnot, but Groudon is the most dominant primal that we've seen today. We've seen one Kyogre.
Yeah. I think it's actually the most used besides the Incineroar. I think over 50% of the people have it.
Can I make like a washed out joke about Kyogre?
Go for it.
I was like, nah, it's too easy. Miguel was just like not even giving me like the pain like pun look, which means it's not a good pun. That's how I measure this, Miguel. Miguel's disappointed that means I did a good job. If he gives me a shrug, that means I didn't do a very good job. So that's okay. It's fine. Anyway, I'm actually really excited for this. I think using different types of Megas, especially something like Mawile, which had so much use back when we had Megas like last season, would be really fun, right? So kind of seeing that here, and double Tapus, having multiple Tapus on the team has been really hard to come by lately.
Well, we're going to see one of those Tapus, Tapu Fini, come out from Scott's side with his Groudon. So you have Yveltal and Groudon on Patrick's side. We also see that it's going to be Yveltal, then Tapu Fini, and then it's going to be Patrick's Groudon followed by Scott's Groudon when it comes down to that tie. So it could be speed tied possibly, but at least we have a little bit of a note of where this is going to end up.
I mean, if you have the slower Groudon, you know for sure who's going to be faster or not, right? But I'm actually really interested to see this because when you can't hit with Precipice Blades for the Yveltal with Sucker Punch is still absolutely terrifying, right? I mean, it's still one of those Pokemon that has that ability to just kind of threaten a lot of advantage. Like we saw earlier, like with Salamences, where you didn't have to worry about getting hit by Precipice Blades. And that same sort of concept kind of comes here with the Yveltal. And I think Tapu Fini has been such an interesting Pokemon to see in use. Like, I know we're not even like a full 2 weeks into Ultra, but like Tapu Fini has just, you cannot get rid of it.
Yeah. Well, we're going to see a Protect from Patrick's Groudon. That's a tongue twister for me, at least. We also see Tailwind for Patrick's side and Gravity. So now Yveltal is no longer immune to that Precipice Blades. And we are going to see that Precipice Blades from Scott's side right off the bat. So a free hit for him onto this Yveltal slot. But at the end of this turn, Patrick is going to be the faster side of the field here. That did over 50% though, but now you got to watch out for Patrick's own Groudon providing Precipice Blades onto yours. And that's guaranteed hits now.
Remember that joke I made about Yveltal being able to switch in and not get hit by Precipice Blades? Yeah, forget that, I guess. Yeah, I mean, Gravity Tapu Fini isn't something that I'm like really surprised by, but it's like still really kind of fun to see. So like you said, it does guarantee the hit on Precipice Blades, and Precipice Blades is one of those things where it's just always so scary, but now we have like the other Protect on the other side to protect against that. But
oh, we're going to see a Z Crystal come out. It's Dark Z, so that's definitely on that Yveltal. And that Protect might have come in clutch here, because I'm pretty sure that you're not going to go Dark Z onto Tapu Fini. Pretty sure.
Man, Black Hole Eclipse though, that's not as you were expecting to. Yeah, but that Protect is going to make sure that damage is overrated on here. So Burning Manzine moves super early on in this turn. Does barely any damage at all here. And like those Precipice Blades just does hit the Tapu Fini. And like actually Tapu Fini here is going to be definitely support because
Ooh.
It's just, it's like...
That Moonboss is going to get rid of Yveltal here, so now a little bit safer. You don't have to deal with Sucker Punch or Foul Play.
I think it depends on what has Patrick in the back, right?
Yeah.
I think Dark MZ is such an interesting thing, but Landorus, which is Pokemon, I think most people are like, oh yeah, we're gonna kind of see it on the up and up again. I think you were talking about that before this PC even started. Was looking at ground type moves that weren't just Groudon.
And Landorus was like the only thing that came to mind, I think.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. Like, so the thing is here, if you have Top Affinity of Icy Wind, this is one of those instances where you're just like, oh, okay, Landorus doesn't stay around here for very long. I mean, he's got a -1 now on Scott's Groudon, but I think like it's just kind of rough for Patrick here because you know, you've lost the Yveltal, your Precious Spades, all of them are gonna hit regardless of like whichever Groudon it is. And yeah, Scott's just not gonna risk it.
No. Switching into his Incineroar here. Getting an Intimidate on both of the ground types of Patrick's side. Though Incineroar is still weak, that Intimidate's definitely gonna help out here. We see Sludge Bomb from Landorus, so trying to get rid of the Finny and doesn't do it successfully. And activates Tapu Finny's Berry, so just ended up helping Tapu Finny a little bit here. We see Swords Dance from Groudon on Patrick's side, gonna try and use that Tailwind and just now sweep with Precipice Blades, and thanks to the gravity, that's a guaranteed hit. Moonblast targeting that Landorus slot. Bit interesting because we didn't see Icy Wind. I was a bit surprised with that, honestly.
Yeah, Swords Dance is actually really fun. I know that Groudon will carry it as well. It's kind of a nice way to like round out your movesets. Sludge Bomb was also very interesting to see there. I mean, hitting the top of Finny, getting rid of it would be really nice, right? Because then you've got you're getting rid of something that's like a super support Pokemon here. That Landorus is really kind of nice to have on your field, right? Even though it's been intimidated, it can at least like threaten some damage on the back of Finny. But we do get a switch out, and
boom! All Wild coming in play here, and we see that Intimidate, so that's gonna cripple Incineroar as well.
That's the scary spot apparently, because that's where both the Intimidators are.
Yeah. Fake Out, gonna make sure Groudon doesn't get to move, and Haze coming out from top of Finny, getting rid of that Swords Dance, and the Intimidates for that matter. So that was definitely
not a shiny thing.
I know we have to kind of explain that. I swear, if I get one on stream, it's gonna take all my power not to gasp.
No, you probably will, because like, it's a hard reaction to kind of like stop. Yeah, but Haze is actually kind of like frustrating now because then, you know, that setup turn is kind of a waste. I mean, Gravity's about to end, but it's only going to really affect the Landorus that you have in the back for Patrick, and it's unfortunate because now your Intimidate cycles aren't really going to matter as much. However, you still have at least that pressure for Mega Mawa later on. Yep.
Well, we're going to see Landorus switch in, get another Intimidate. Now Incineroar back down to -1. We do have the Gravity still in place, so that helps a little bit, but not Swords Danced. Precipice Blades is going to connect here with both of Scott's Pokemon, and it is going to not get rid of the Incineroar. It survives at 2 HP. That's insane. That's insane. Figgy Berry activates Haze once again to get rid of that Intimidate, and now Incineroar is free to launch a full power attack here with this Flare Blitz targeting out that Lander slot. There's no way it's going to take that, especially with the Desolate Land. So now it's a bit of a tricky scenario here because of that gravity is now gone, so you can that Precipice Blade. It's a bit tricky in both scenarios, but it also could end up working for Scott. You just need to get a Flare Blitz on the Mawile, and it's over for Mawile right there.
So the funny thing is, if you commit to clicking Haze against you with Tapu Fini, then you're going to lose both of your Pokemon as long as Patrick can hit Precipice Blades on both of them, right? And then you can at least have then you get rid of the Intimidator on Scott's side, and you can Mega Evolve your Mawile for later. So I think committing to Haze is a very interesting concept, and it actually really helped Scott here because of the fact that that Groudon stats were reset to that. But we are going to be getting the Mega Evolution, so we're going to get Mega Mawile and that huge power for it. So that attack stat that it has is going to be doubled, and there's no Intimidates on it right now.
And there's that Precipice Blades. It is going to connect with both of Scott's Pokemon here, so that is gone. Now going down to his last two. We know one of them is Groudon. But we don't know the other one. He only brought in one of his legends, one of his restricted legends, so he might see the other one here now.
You're trying to remember which one it was.
Yeah, I want to say I don't remember. I'll admit it. But I'm curious what we're gonna see here.
Yeah, so like you said, we are going to get the Primal Groudon here again, and then the last Pokemon here, which is going to be
Lunala.
So Lunala does have the Shadow Shield up. Reminder though that Mawile does have Sucker Punch, and with a double attack set after it Mega Evolves, it's absolutely terrifying. Like, it is definitely a Pokemon that will go down to Fire Punch. But so you also have the ability of trying to figure out how do you want to protect your Lunala as well, because Lunala also tends to run Wide Guard as well against Precipice Blades, but you're just going to get the straight
Yep. I'm not surprised. I think this can actually go for...
Miguel, how many edits do you have to do?
I'm so sorry, Miguel.
6th what?
I'm not counting.
I don't know.
I'm so sorry, Miguel.
Like,
But I'm pretty sure Menacing Moonray's Maelstrom is going to be enough to knock out Groudon unless it's got some bulk investment. We know Patrick's was faster, at least when it came to Primal Reverting, so...
I'm definitely still going to say Malicious at some point.
I know, right?
100% will. Especially because people were running Darky Ingredients in the Roar and Malicious Moonsault. Yeah, that's going to be frustrating.
Yeah, and that Groudon is going to survive, though, so...
Very nice.
Stomping Tantrum from Patrick's Groudon targeting Scott's Groudon, and that is going to get it down to a little bit of about a quarter left. Fire Punch targeting that Mawile slot is going to remove of it, and now at this point, Patrick's out of this. Yeah.
I mean, it was nice that he hit his Precipice Blades on both those Pokemon, because that's really tough to pull off sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
Especially on stream.
Let me think. I think. Now that you know that Tapu Fini has Haze and that you can reset Intimidates, getting rid of Tapu Fini is definitely something that should be our priority.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that like it survived some of those attacks when it did, and especially the Incineroar surviving with so close to getting knocked out. So I think here, if you're Patrick, if you can get rid of that Tapu Fini or stop your Intimidate, or like at least make sure that your Intimidates can stick and negate the power that Scott can put out with his Pokemon, and you're okay, right? Because taking advantage of gravity as much as you can is also really nice, because we saw in those first two turns that both the Groudons went for the Protect, because those are just heavy hitters, and those aren't Pokemon that you want to kind of lose unnecessarily.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Now, it was interesting too, I'm a bit surprised that we saw Mawile. As much as I love it, I'm not sure how it fares against Groudon, because we saw that Fire Punch one hit KO. There's not a way to remove the weather when you look at the teams here.
I think if you're Patrick, you were hoping that you could get rid of like the Groudon, or at least try to make sure the damage up that it had was minimal enough to the point where like everything else on your side could take it out. Because the two Mega Potentials on Patrick's side, the Metagross and the Mawile, both of them are extremely weak to something like that Fire Punch. Also, stopping Tantrum on Groudon was actually really interesting to me. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah.
I think also we didn't see as much from Yveltal. We saw it set up Tailwind, and I don't want to say that Patrick didn't capitalize on it, but it is definitely one of those things where Yveltal, I think, could have gotten a little bit more mileage here, right? Now that you know that Tapu Fini is very, it just seems very strictly supportive, where it's got gravity. We saw the Moon Blast, which was like actually a really nice touch, because it's a more offensive move than most Tapu Fini have run from these past two formats that we've seen. But it also has Haze, and like the gravity and Haze are just moves that.
It's two really strong supporting moves for Groudon. Like,
and we know that it has a berry.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things where like you need to get rid of that Tapu Fini if you want your Intimidate cycles to stick. And I think we're going to see a little bit of a lead change up then from Patrick, or if not, then at least a different strategy than using Tailwind Berries.
Well, there's that Groudon Fini lead once again from Scott's side, but now we're seeing Groudon Landorus from Patrick's, a bit of a change from the Yveltal from earlier. And we're going to see that Landorus go for that Intimidate first off. And it also definitely puts a threat here on, puts a target on the back of that Groudon, because you have two ground type attacks targeting your own Groudon if you're Scott at this point. We see Patrick also outspeeds when it comes to Primal Reversion, meaning he's most likely faster, so...
Or, like we found out from Haley's match last time, that she lost the speed tie every single time.
Oh my gosh.
Again, I think only one of them really knows who's got the faster Groudon here.
Yeah.
And whoever has that information, it's going to be the most important thing right now. And I think Patrick switching up his speed here is actually really nice, because now you're forcing Scott to either commit to something like Gravity or like Haze, right?
Yeah.
So either you want to make sure that that your Groudon isn't intimidated without having to switch it out, or you want your Precipice Blades to hit. Like, you can't have both of them right here. Whereas Landorus has sort of the freedom to go for attacks. We know that Sludge Bomb like can do a lot of damage. Obviously can't poison anything though.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see that Groudon switch out into Incineroar here. Does not want to take any of those hits, especially after being intimidated. But now Patrick's own Groudon is intimidated. We see Sludge Bomb coming out from Landorus. It's not even going to target the Groudon slot, possibly calling the switch out here. The Precipice Blades also can deal with it. And we saw that Scott's Incineroar was able to survive that. It is able to do it again, especially with the Intimidate.
Yeah, because the last time we saw it, it was at neutral, right? So this is
yes.
so this is at -1. So for sure, that's gonna be a thing. Another special attack drop too, though. So
definitely helps because we've seen Landorus really not using nothing but special attacks. I'm thinking this Landorus might be Scarfed because of how fast it's going. Only using Sludge Bomb so far. Because,
I think here, like if you're Patrick, you can kind of have your choice of what to double down on. And you have to be careful though, because if you don't knock out the Tapu Fini in one go, it'll get that health back and it'll stick around for just a little bit longer, right? So I think then, if you double down at the Incineroar spot, I also think that wouldn't be a bad idea.
We do have that fake out pressure there, which is going to connect with the Landorus. Precipice Blades, it does double hit here, so Patrick able to adjust himself. But the Tapu Fini is going to survive. Tapu Fini is going to survive.
That's a hard one, I think, that survives here, because the berry activation gets the health back there. That Tapu Fini is going to stick around for another day. Is going to be able to go for some attacks here. I think I've only seen 3 moves.
Moonblast, Gravity, and Haze. Yeah. We don't know.
So that 4th move might actually be kind of fun to see if it ever gets forced to be revealed.
I'm guessing Muddy Water because we haven't seen Icy Wind, and I think this would be a good time to use it.
It'd be real funny, yeah.
That's my guess. Water gives Fini. Who knows? No, it's already got the berry.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, no. But you said that's on the rise again, so who knows? Maybe we'll see it at some point.
Yeah, so the nice thing here for Scott is that bringing in this Primal Groudon now, you're unintimidated, which means that you're going to be doing... I think now is like the perfect time to kind of go for that Gravity and then go for the Precipice Blades, right? Because then Landorus is going to be in a really tough spot. Groudon is going to be able to deal as much damage back, and you have to double down into the Tapu Fini at this point now if you're Patrick, if you want to get rid of it, because it's going to be very frustrating to have to try to deal with something like Haze if you, again, are going to try to commit to something like the Intimidate cycle right here, because there's been no switch from Patrick as of yet.
Yeah, I'm thinking Patrick's going to go Sludge Bomb onto the Fini and Precipice Blades, and Landorus used Earth Power, so it's a not choice item.
Ooh,
it is going to do... Yeah, it does a decent amount. We're seeing a double target here onto the Groudon with the Stomping Tantrum. And after that Intimidate, this Groudon's going to take it. There's the Gravity and Precipice Blades coming out. If you have Heal Pulse too, then you're in a really good spot as long as you don't have something that can get rid of that 45 HP left on Groudon here.
What's really interesting to me is going for... Oh, gosh.
Oh! Patrick's Groudon actually took that hit.
Really, especially now that you know that your Groudon is faster than the other one, because... what's really interesting here is to see the interaction between Tapu Fini and Scott's Groudon, where the fact that Tapu Fini has to get Gravity to go first before Groudon goes for Precipice Blades, because you don't want to risk that interaction being something otherwise, right? Yep. So now you can, I think, going for Sucker Punch here would be really fun, because if you go for Sucker Punch and use single target Precipice Blades, or you go for it out of the Stompable Tantrum, then you've got a chance of just like pushing this to a game.
Yeah, don't forget, Gravity's activated now, so definitely want to go for that Precipice Blades. We see Mawile switch out, getting that Intimidate in, as well as bringing out Yveltal here. So no, we see Protect on Patrick's side actually, but no real attacks here because we have another double Protect. But I'm thinking Mawile, definitely the main goal of Mawile was to get that Intimidate off as soon as possible. And bringing in Yveltal is definitely very smart for Patrick because it's going to be hard to knock it out in one hit because
it's also Z move. So
it is Z move.
It'll be really fun to see that because like
you just hit that on Groudon and it's gone, even though it protected this last turn. But I think more importantly is to set up the Tailwind so you can get rid of Scott's last Pokemon.
Which actually it would be the Lunala, which has the move, because like keeping Lunala around for this moment would be also really nice because it's also still got that Shadow Shield. But I also think like that's what makes Mama such a fun Pokemon to kind of see here, because now that you're presuming that as well, there's just a lot of pressure onto Scott to try to like make the most out of the Pokemon that he has here. So Mama gonna come back into the field, gets another Intimidate out onto Scott's Pokemon, is gonna put it at -2 now. And if Scott decides to go, I think he might have committed to Moonblast for the Yveltal.
I think so too.
Which is the other problem.
And there's that switch out of Groudon as well. So 2 Groudon switches. Lunala
I forgot
is
what the
coming
screen
in.
looked like without harsh sunlight for so long.
I know, right?
Oh my gosh.
Sucker Punch coming out from that Yveltal. It is not going to do anything, and that means that Moonblast is a free hit onto Yveltal. It does 50% just about. I'm a bit surprised we didn't see Tailwind activate.
No, I think that's fine. Because like Patrick knows his speed. Like he knows he's gonna be faster. He knows that Groudon has to go after the top of the knee for things like gravity, for things like haste to be of any other effect. Because if you go before any of those, then it's kind of pointless to have to use them, right? So now it's a matter of because of Dark Aura, Sucker Punch would do so much to that Lunala if it attacks.
It would probably.
And so now you've got that whole thing of, hey, I think you have to protect the Lunala.
No, there's no way there's no. Well, see Yveltal go for the first protect, and no protect on Lunala. We see Moonblast on the Yveltal and Crunch from Mawile. So
all right.
with the Shadow Shield and Dark Aura.
Wow.
It's still a knockout.
So nice, Patrick. I am so in love with this.
Okay.
I love that so much.
And that is why Mawile is powerful.
That was so good.
That was great.
I love that. Well, I actually think that's like also really cool, right? Because it also creates a really cool interaction between Yveltal and Mawile, where now you have this sort of thing where you boost that crunch damage as well, and like that guaranteed knockout plus like past Shadow Shield is so nice. Like it's so rare to see a Lunala get knocked out in one hit.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's really fun to be able to see that, and like that makes it so that Patrick's kind of in a better spot. Like,
yeah,
I still don't think we would see something like a Tailwind. I think right here we're gonna see just like another attack, because there's no reason, because you know how fast you are to defend everything else. But like if we have like an Iron Head or something like a Play Rough, or like I think if you double down into Groudon, you might be in trouble, because that Tapu Fini is like still like really kind of scary.
There's the Play Rough into the Finny, but it didn't double down because Yveltal went down. But it is gonna get rid of the Finny.
Yeah, well, because like Play Rough, that one's also a very scary move. Because of like that, it's not 100% accuracy move, right?
Yeah,
but now you're in like a really great spot, because all you really do is like you can just attack. Like
you cook Sucker. Well, I was gonna say you cook Sucker Punch, but I don't think Sucker Punch is there. You cook Stomping Tantrum and you're faster. So
click Stomping Tantrum. You can click Crunch again. Like, you have so many options. And, like, there's like nothing to like really do. And like if you're Patrick, then you know for sure you're faster, especially because like what you're like again, like you know that your Groudon, his Groudon, like Scott's Groudon, has to be slower than that Tapu Fini. So especially with like all those things that Tapu Fini is doing.
Oh yeah, I think
Crunch Mawile, I love this.
Crunch Mawile, I think, is actually really underrated, because it, like with the Yveltal, we saw that one shot. I mean, that kind of speaks for itself there.
It's just really hard, I think, to support a Pokemon like that, because of the fact that you have something like Primal Groudon running around everywhere. And I think kind of trying to fitting Megas again in here is also a little bit tough. Why is there a Starly here? Oh my god, you're not a Bagon. Jeez. But I also actually think that like what Patrick did was really nice. Like I really appreciate those 4 Pokemon that he brought again, because he used them in a better way, I think, this time than he did in that game 1, right? Like he was able to create a lot of pressure with the Landorus and with the Groudon, because again you kind of had to force sort of like the either Gravity choice or the Moonblast choice, or like Tapu Fini had to decide what it wanted to do the most, and Patrick, if he was able to call that, could really make sure he took advantage of it.
Yeah. Well, now in this round, we're definitely going to see both Groudons, I believe. I think we're going to see Salamence, though, because I think Scott realizes he needs to get Tailwind up in order to outspeed Patrick's Groudon, have a chance to get rid of it kind of fast. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Salamence Groudon lead with Finny in the back and Lunala as the last Mon, but I don't know. There's a bunch of different options.
I think that's risky with something like Mawile. Play Rough plus
Yeah.
like the fairy typing.
But
and,
if you're going for Groudon, then you got. We saw the Fire Punch 1 hit KO, so I think that's maybe his like safety net there. Is just keeping Groudon alive, but that's tough though.
Ooh.
Tapu Koko Groudon from Patrick's side, going for a more.
I wonder if he's expecting the Salamence as well. Yeah, because there's the Salamence.
Yep, but it's partnered with Lunala.
I'm actually wondering then if we're going to see something like Electrium Z Tapu Koko.
That's what I'm thinking too.
So, man, we're in that era again of like, we don't know what item anything's going to carry anymore because everything can carry everything.
It's
again.
true.
God, it's just.
It's kind of fun. It's definitely unpredictable.
Like, it'll be. I enjoy, I think, when formats are like this where it's like everyone's just kind of like experimenting.
Yeah.
Right, and I think what's really smart is that Patrick understood that like that Salamence would then make an appearance, and like Tapu Koko is a scary fast Pokemon.
It is.
Right, and it's strong, and it's on terrain. And I think if you're Scott, you're gonna have to decide if you want to rewrite that terrain and then have something take the Z, right? So either you protect and switch out for your Tapu Fini in the back,
Yeah.
or you double protect and take the damage behind a protect from a potential.
Yeah. Either way, it's pretty much. You got to keep that Salamence alive. If you go for that the Cine switch in, there's a shot you're going to be able to get that Tailwind up. So that might be the option you go for.
Yeah, there's a lot. It'll be fun.
We're going to see it switch out here. That Salamence now swapping into Tapu Fini, but possibly risking a Electrium Z onto that Fini slot.
Which I think if you lose your Tapu Fini, I don't think it's like really the worst thing.
No, you can survive without it.
Yeah, and like the Salamence again is like gonna be the most important thing here, but now it's not. Oh, very nice. So Volt Switch instead actually gonna break the Shadow Shield, so that's also really nice. Are we gonna make a Mawile? Because that would be great.
I think we might.
We get Mawile here. I think Mawile did such a good job, especially.
Yeah, there it is, and that's definitely the play to make. Even though you've revealed all of your Pokemon, I think in this case, you can just go for the play rough for Iron Head on Tapu Fini, and Dark NeemZ coming out right off the bat. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Ghost NeemZ.
Yeah.
Ghost and Dark.
I was like, he also just switched into the Yveltal.
No, you're right.
Oh! Yay! I'm so proud of you.
I don't know whose idea it was to make Ghost and Dark, which are like two of the most similar types, have the same style as Z-move, you know?
Ghost stops halfway, Dark goes up all the way, and it's like, what? Yeah. Anyway, but...
But this Menacing Moonrays Maelstrom going on to Yveltal, not going to do too much at all.
Yeah, and like, if you're Patrick, that's actually, your mom wasn't such a good position.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Yeah, it is. Especially, that did way more than I thought it would. And it was a crit, so that makes sense.
That's why it did way more than you thought.
I was like, that did way more. But now Yveltal is in the spot where you get Fini can knock it out with a Moonblast. Lunala protects or switches, and so Scott's not in a terrible position either. I think it's still anyone's game. I don't know.
You can actually still hit like really hard though with Mawile here. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It depends on like whether or not you want to keep the Intimidate, and like that's the choice that you really have to make here. And I think if you're Patrick, you can actually protect your Yveltal this turn as well, or
That would be the smart play.
Or
sure, switch it out.
you can at least just go for the Z switch there. Yeah, so I think we're gonna see the Groudon coming again.
There it is. Yeah, I'm not surprised with that at all. Yveltal was in a really tough spot there with that. Tapu Fini looming with his Moonblast. We'll see that Desolate Land come out, and Mawile will Mega, so that Mawile can no longer Intimidate, and that means all Intimidates are off the table for Patrick's side. So that's a bit of a better spot for Scott here. Doesn't have to worry about getting intimidated with some sort of Groudon in the back or some kind of crazy strategy.
Go into that Groudon right now, and then we've got the play rough. It's going to connect here. So yeah, Patrick kind of understanding that the protect on the Lunala was actually just a very sort of quote-unquote predictable protect here. And now it's kind of in a scary spot because now you are going to be kind of forced to switch out the Lunala unless you want to go down to an attack from that Mawile. And like the problem is Tapu Fini doesn't deal enough damage onto either Pokemon here, and because Lunala's random Z-move, it's in a really fragile position, right? So you have to, if you bring, like you have to switch something out, but if you bring in the Salamence, you're gonna lose. You risk a really high potential of losing it because of the fact that Mawile is there.
Yeah. We're gonna see Moongeist Beam from Lunala right off the bat, so not gonna actually save itself essentially. Goes for a decent hit on the Groudon, and Groudon's gonna go with a Precipice Blades.
Yeah,
and that
next.
Yeah. and that's going to be the end of top of Finny, and with a crunch in the back, that's also, oh, play rough going on to the Lunala slot. It's still going to probably be enough to knock it out.
I would just like to point out, Patrick's moves are stressing me out right now because they're all like not 100% accuracy, so I'm waiting for the text that says avoided the attack or missed.
Yeah.
But hitting both of those is really nice because now that Salamence and then the last Pokemon that Scott has here and be forced onto the field. Yeah, sure you get Intimidate into the Mawile and to the Groudon, but the nice thing about it now is you also have the two Pokemon that you have. You still have the Tapu Koko you can use to deal with Salamence, and if you can preserve either one of your other Pokemon for that Groudon, you're in a fantastic spot to just like win this game, right?
You know,
if you're Scott, you're still not in a bad spot.
No, it's not terrible at all. Especially since Salamence going for a double edge or Hyper Voice onto that Groudon from Patrick's side will be enough to knock it out. You don't have to worry about Intimidate anymore, so in that case you can just go straight on head-on attacks. You got the Fire Punch to hit them all while possibly going Precipice Blades instead if you want to hit Tapu Koko in the back. So
you can actually just take out the Mawile too, though, because Mawile is slower than Tapu Fini, and we saw that it had gotten hit by Fire Punch by the Groudon first. So that's also something I think you have to consider for your Patrick, right? So I think you either lose both Pokemon here, or you decide how you want to protect your Pokemon, because I think you have to be now in a position to set up Tailwind for your Mawile for later. So I think we might see a protect from Mawile, and then like maybe a switch out, set up for Tailwind, and then another switch or something like that, right? So
Patrick swapping that Groudon out, going into Yveltal, doesn't want to get Precipice Blades. And like you said, this is a decent time to set up that Tailwind.
So I think we might actually see it, if we see it protect, that would have been nice.
Well, there's that Mega Salamence coming on the field now. Which I think all of us in this room want in Pokemon Go right now. Shiny, that one's right there. I mean, we got Mawile protecting, and there's that Tailwind. So now Scott in a very favorable position. At this point, you just Fire Punch going onto the Mawile. At this point, you Hyper Voice and Fire Punch, I think.
Like you're in like a really tough spot now if you're Patrick, because I think you really want to try to set up Tailwind because you want that speed advantage for that one turn later on. Your best bet I think you could try to go for is you go for the connect, or you let your Groudon go down on this turn because your Groudon's already on its like last sort of legs, and then hope that your Yveltal can get that Tailwind up first, right?
Yeah. There's the Hyper Voice, and that is going to do a massive amount of damage onto both Patrick's Pokemon with little health left. And to finish it off, Precipice Blades coming out from Scott. That was a close one. I'm with you, like that exactly.
No, the Precipice Blades was like definitely a thing because
for Tapu Koko.
I had the Tapu Koko and I would have picked up a knockout Tailwind Mawile, right? So I don't think there's actually a way Patrick can win this because Tailwind's already been set up.
It was just scary because I'm like, I had to go Precipice. Precipice is always nervous. I think he might have a shot if he's able to.
If you have Protect, you have Crunch, you have Play Rough. If you have something like Sucker Punch, now would be 100% the time to use it. Tapu Koko, I think it's not going to survive. Actually, I don't think it's going to survive. It doesn't survive with Precipice Blades.
No, it doesn't.
But if Precipice Blades misses and you have Z-Move and you can take out the Salamence, you might be able to do something. I don't know.
It's going to come down to Precipice Miss. That's really.
It's just, I don't know. Like, it's leaning towards Scott here.
Hyper Voice first off. Gonna cripple both of Patrick's Pokemon just enough. And there's the Precipice Blades.
Oh, yeah, that connects.
That's it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you kind of had to like really bank on that. But
that was intense. I gotta admit, it was. That last turn with the Precipice Blades, you know, anytime it just says Groudon use Precipice Blades, you have this little, like, you tense up, right? Because you're like, oh, it's gonna miss, right? That's always how you do.
I always wait to see if it'll miss or not, because I'm always curious, because, like, I don't hit, I hit, like, maybe 25% of my Precipice Blades when I click it.
Yeah, I know, like, I completely get it.
Yeah, but that's the end of the Swiss rounds. Are we taking a break, Miguel? Probably not. We'll probably take, like, a 10, 15 minute break. Well, there's still people playing. So as soon as those games are done, we'll get Top Cut up for you guys, and we'll probably just jump into Top Cut. Or we start Top Cut at 6 o'clock so we can spend 15 minutes shiny on TV.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Let's see.
Miguel
hey, there we go.
Miguel said
there we go.
So it's going to be a no, I guess. All right, well, I don't know. Whenever everybody else is done, we get Top Cut. I guess it'll happen.
I apologize to everyone. Now I'm catching the big one.
All right, well, we'll see you guys for Top Cut.
Oh, I saw the end.